Everywhere that you pick any agreement, any loan, write them. And don't act like you have forgotten them. No, you don't have to forget them, because people will never forget what they have given you. Even if they have to give it for you for free, they would want you to acknowledge it. So never forget any one of the debt that you have accrued. Write them down, tally them, put them together, and start to look at the ones that are very little, that you think you can do something else to reduce them. Because the moment you start to do something else to reduce the other ones, which are very few, maybe you have 10 of them, suppliers, maybe some of them 500,000, 200,000, and then maybe your labor, you owe one of the boys maybe 200 Ghana, 300 Ghana. Some of those you can do something to start to handle them, and that process gives you some bit of confidence. You start to get back up because you see some successes. You start to clear this, before you go to the major ones. And the major ones, sometimes if the business has gone bad, you would have to just go and discuss with them. Is there any way that they can hold the interest? Is there any way that they can pardon some of it? Is there any way that they can give you a different schedule to follow, even though you are not sure of where the next payment is coming from? Because they are not going to just forgive you because you think that your business is bad. No, because they are also in business. One thing about construction projects and engineering kind of projects is that they go through tender, and because you have set the business, and those are the ways that you are going to get leads and projects to run your business, you are bent on going for some of these things anyway. So sometimes you have to go through buying a tender document, which is money. Meanwhile, your business may not have generated any money at all. So maybe you went to a friend to take a loan to do this. You may have to go for the bid security, which is also money. Even at a point where they have given you the project, they may require of you to even go for performance bond, and which they also take a lot of things to guarantee. So that's why I am of the opinion that this kind of businesses, engineering, construction, projects that you spend a lot of money before you're paid, they are not for beginners. They are for people who have done a bit of other businesses so much. If you want to save yourself from a lot of trouble, maybe even the suppliers kind of contract will be better than you going for this kind of businesses. But nonetheless, if you are tough and you think that that's a good place to start, these are some of the things that you will incur before you even get revenue from the project. So they will take collaterals from you, they will take guarantees from you. Those are all money that if you don't have it on yourself, you may have borrowed it from somebody. Sometimes even when you have signed the contract, before they even give you mobilization, they would want you to guarantee the mobilization. And these are all financial instruments, so to say, that you get bonded to. The insurance, the performance bond, the mobilization guarantees, all those. They are money that you are spending, yet you may not have received anything. And so when things go bad, apart from you taking money to even finance the project itself, all these other obligations may be on you. Now, how do you keep your head up? Because somebody may have advised you and you didn't take, or you were that much self-focused and you were interested in just the money but not in building gradually. How do you handle this phase? And having done the project and now you are screwed, you owe some of the institutions, the taxes, the SNED, all these other institutions will come up. And the other thing is that the business, because you have registered it with all these institutions, if you don't go to notice them that maybe you don't have any business, you don't have any projects ongoing, they are counting the liability. They are counting money against you anyway. So, and your administrative costs, your overheads, even though you may not be working and revenue may not be coming in every day or every week, you are still in your office. If you have an office, your electricity is on. If you have some kind of people who are helping you, you're paying one or two people salary, yourself included. There are a lot of other overheads that you have, even though you may not even have a project at all. So this is the kind of things that if you're not conscious, by the time you see, you have created a huge mess for yourself. And anybody that you create a debt to, they would come for the money. So my name is Kwabena. I'm talking about some of the mistakes that you can make when you start your business, especially when you start it from project kind of businesses. You can put yourself in a lot of stress and a lot of bad situation. And that's why I say that some of these bulk money businesses where the cash flow is not daily is not for people who have not done anything before. You should have been doing some things before. You know, some people get into it because they get a lot of promises from whoever they are giving the project to, because they have their cards in net, you know. But when things don't work out, those people will not show up. So the liability will still be on you. And I know a lot of friends, you know, I know a lot of people who have gone through this, and some of them found it very difficult to get back up, you know, and they lost a lot of things. And so you should be able to be in that situation to prevent it. But if you were not able to prevent it, and now that you're in the situation, what do you do? You know, what do you do? So I recommend that you take the responsibility. Don't dodge it. You take the responsibility, meet some of the people that you think you can meet, and separate yourself from the problem, because other than that you cannot keep your head up. Yet we need you to be healthy, we need you to be alive to go through this phase. I see them as a phase, you know, as a phase that you have got to go through in you learning how to build your business. So, and some of them can be that much elongated, if that is an English word. It can be that stretched if you are not getting better and if you're not doing a lot of lobbyings, you know. So it can be 2 years, it can be 3 years, it can be a bad situation for you, especially if it's in millions, you know. So let some of the people you owe know that the situation is not good. The situation is not good, and if they can do something different for you, let them do it for you. If they cannot, it's still your problem. You don't have to kill yourself over it. You just have to keep yourself up. And that, you know, at the same time, sometimes that's where you also get bad deals, where you get people, politicians calling you, or friends calling you and say that, let's say I have this project, I want 20% cut. Because you are in a bad situation, if you don't take care, you go and take those. And then they may also compound your problems, you know. So these are things that you do if you want to build a business anyway. If you don't want to build any business and you just want to do it just because of the money, that's fine. But even that, you can still get yourself into trouble, you know. So the situation has gone bad. Keep your head up. Meet some of the people that you can meet. Talk to them. They can be angry. They may insult you. Yes, you put yourself in that situation. So don't take those things personally. Take them as professionally as you can, and keep talking, you know, because it's a phase. If you're able to go through that phase, you may see a brighter day, you know. So, and most contractors have gone through this. Most people who have gone through this tender kind of situation have got to handle a lot of things, because the processes are not well set. The processes are very confusing. And they are very hazy, so to say. They are not clear. And so when you entered in and you got hit because you were naive, you were not skilled as a business person, as an entrepreneur, you didn't even know what you were getting yourself involved. Some people meet problem after they have done business for a while. So their confidence is very high. They know what to do, where to call to solve the problem. Some people also meet problems when just about the time that they're about to set up. They are just about the time that they are about to lift the business, then they are hit. That, I think, is more dangerous than the one who has had some kind of exposure, some kind of experience, some kind of financial understanding, some kind of network, you know. So if you have got through that kind of phase where you were not just astute, you didn't know what you were doing, and then you were hit badly, that is a tough situation. What I would recommend is that you can also leverage that kind of exposure that you have learned, the lessons that you have learned, to start some other businesses. And I can guarantee you that those other businesses, no matter how small the revenues are, you'll be way ahead of trying to set it rightly, because you may have learned your lessons from the bad ones, you know. So those are the things that I am talking of. So commit to you giving back the people their money, no matter what it takes. Don't ever think that you should just run away with anybody's money. It doesn't worth it. It doesn't worth it. It doesn't worth it unless they say take it. That's because you are not going to go to the next stage if you don't handle the situation. It may be very painful. It may be very painful, and one of the things that you can do to reduce the stress is you trying to don't panic, and don't be so much quick to impress people that you owe. Don't be so much quick. Just be frank with them as much as you can, because they may not, especially when the debts are multiple, when the debts are coming from many other areas. So anytime you get money, you don't even know where to solve the problem. Don't be quick to overpromise them, and let people know the cards, because then you can reduce your pressure. Because if you put a lot of them together, it can be out, it can kill you. So don't overpromise any of them. Be as professional as you can, be honest as you can, and talk to them as humans, because they also have some other challenges that they deal with. So and every human being has gone through some bit of challenges anyway. So if you're frank and you know what you're saying, and then they see that you're committed to it, they will be able to listen to you a bit. And those who don't even listen to you at all, how do you handle it? Some of them may take you to court, some of them may take you to police. Those things should not derail you. Just stay up with the situation, and you're not a criminal. It's just that you started business, and maybe the situation in our country does not take care of bankruptcy and filings and all those, So people even use police people to take their debt. I don't know if it's right. But then I ask the contractors who the government owe, that then why don't you take the president to the police station? Because when you owe, let's say, your supplier and you're not paying him, your supplier can call the police, and the policeman will be so ignorant to come with the supplier to say that you owe this man pay, as if you went to dupe the man. The project has not paid you. Then you ask the police officer, the other person also owes me, the institution owes me, can we also go there and take that? But they think that if you are individual and people can go and lie and give them something, they will then use that as a situation to harass you. I think that you just have to stand up and say what you know. And if they take you to court, take a lawyer and go and fight. So these are all situations that you a lot of them, a certain friend of mine so happened to have himself indebted to some of these institutions. It's a business that he had no control, but then he uses his company. And then he's in a situation where they are taking him to court. He's meeting all these people every now and then. Can you understand the situation? And he's only into this, not from the personal level. Because if he were employing some place and he was just taking his salary and no problem, he would never be in that kind of debt, tune of debt. This is like $500,000 Ghana cedis. He will never, nobody will even give you that kind of debt, money at the personal level. But this is the situation he finds himself in. Why? Because he tried to build a business. And some of it will just obviously be a mistake. So we can call it a mistake at this stage. By the time that he was negotiating the deals, they may not have been mistakes. So when you get to that stage, that's not the time to complain and cry and weep and blame yourself every time. No, every business has some kind of situation like that they deal with. Every entrepreneur has gone through some kind of situation like that they deal with. And I can guarantee you that even though your business may not have grown to that stature, sometimes the quantum of problems that you have dealt with, they may have also stretched you, as if your business had grown to that kind of stature, if you had taken a different route. So in terms of maturity, the problems you didn't want to welcome them, you didn't create them, that they have come. And your ability to weave your way out of it will be an asset to you. If you're able to stay, keep your composure, keep the stress, keep the team, talk the confidence, and create more access, more avenues, keep the faith and fight, and continue to solve the problems one after the other, till you're through. By the time you're through, you're a different person. You would have matured. You would have had a different way of looking at issues. And every business person, if you talk to them, they have had their kind of problem. So you are different from the problem. Don't kill yourself. Your maturity to have built a profitable business is not different from you having started the business and you creating this mess that you're correcting, because the same kind of skills are needed to solve the situation and deal with them well. It's the same kind of engineering that you need to build the foundation in the debt. and the same kind of engineering that you need to build the one above the ground level, you know. So the same. So keep your emotions, look into the future, and become more resilient, more robust from within, you know, and don't shy away from people because you have business trouble, you know. And the other thing that you can use is to start more businesses out of that experience. Leverage that, because that energy is, they need to be expended, so to say. Use that energy, that force that created that problem is in your heart now. You have expanded, so use that to build some other businesses, you know. Partner with some other people, carry that information there, and you see that you can also build some 1, 2, 3, 4 businesses out of these troubles that you got yourself in because of your ignorance, because of your negligence, because of your immaturity, you know. So if you're in multiple debt, so to say, start to solve some of the ones that are very few. Solve them, and once you get to solve them, you build the confidence. And forget regrets. Forget regrets. That's what I want to say. Forget regrets. You took risk, and risk come with losses. And so if you lose the money, or if you lost the profit that you projected, and now you are in shit, sorry, you are in trouble, it's a situation. Forget, don't keep on weeping and crying, and maybe you can cry for a day, but the rest, fight back. So you are better off equipped. We are far more equipped, as I said, for the next stage of the business as well, you know, for the next stage of the business. And if you do the due diligence, you will know where you missed them, you know. And understand people's emotions. When their money is with you, understand their emotions. People care about their money. If they give you their money, they care about the money they gave you. They don't care about you. So most of them, very few people will care about you. They care about the money because they gave you the money. Maybe they wanted to grow the money from at your end, you know. So if you're not able to return their money with the profit, at least give them the money that they gave you. And if you're not giving that the money, because that money they sweated for, they worked for it, that's why they had it. And so it's that much important to them, and they will never forget that situation, you know. So that is a dicey one, but people will never forget their money that they have given you, and you should never forget the debt that you have. You should never, you know, you should always remember and see how you can handle the situation and understand their emotions. It's special to them, and people have the right to handle the situation the way they handle it, but don't put up with any abuse because of that, you know, because if you lose your head, then everything will go bad, you know. So if you lose yourself, everything will go bad. But those who give you money should also understand that they also took risk. And so at a point when it's not coming, it's also the same way you took the risk and it's not coming. So they should also bear some bit of patience with you. And some of them will be patient with you. Some of them will never be patient at all. You know, I have given money to people that, you know, millions, thousands, that never came back. And I've also taken money from people that I also wasted them. So it's a situation. We are all learning, and you just have to keep learning and keep learning and keep learning. So the other thing is that the business will continue to incur expenses even if your project is not paying. So that is something that is so dangerous about business. Once you start the business, it's always incurring the expenditure. So even if you are not bringing any revenue into the business, the business is accruing expenses all the time, and these expenses turn out to be the problems for you, because you may go to another place to take money to handle the expenses, and yet you are not bringing in a lot of revenue. And so one of the things that you may have to do is look out and see how you can maybe increase the prospecting, increase the sales, increase something to stop the business bleeding. Because the business is bleeding, is in bad situation because it was bad structured, you know, from the first place. And some of the things, for instance, if you have machines in the business, if you have equipment, you keep on using insurance on those equipment, road certificates and all those. They are also an avenue of expenditure, you know. So they are all adding up to the problems. So you just have to sit down and engineer and look at the situation and say, this one I can put up with it, this one I can put up with it. If you have to crash the business, close it and maybe give yourself some break and start another one. You know, these are the things that you have got to do, because if you leave things like that, the debt will continue to grow. You know, for instance, your construction company, you have certification. Some of them they will take 5,000 every year. even if you are not doing any project, if you want to renew it, you will pay. Electrical engineering certificate classification. All those are ways that you accrue debt, whether your business is working or not working. So you have to sit down and look at yourself and look at what you can do to stop the bleeding, and handle the situation as you have them. Life must go on in spite of all the challenges that you are meeting, in spite of all the problems, in spite of all the mess. Don't ever try to take your life because you have problems. The good thing is that you are just about 2, 3, 4, 5% of people who have ever dared to start any business, and you daring to even start anything at all is a plus. It shows that you had some kind of confidence. You had some kind of confidence. That's why you were able to try something. You may not have started well. You may not have structured the business well, because the business goes well or goes wrong right from the way that the business was structured right from the beginning. So successful businesses, one of the things that this situation will also tell you is that the next business that you are looking at starting, if you're able to get yourself off this problem, is that successful businesses are set right from the start. Right from the start, the business idea, the people, the expertise of the people, the area that you're going into, how much the money, the cash flow, who are going to be what, the business expenditure that you set up to write, all the things that you think will bring in some kind of expenses. If you write them, you will see that you may be able to structure this other one far better than the one that you naively started, and you started with a bit of hope and with a lot of exuberance, and that is what all of us get to start. And so if your first business and you got hit, if you had started in a very small one, you may have been hit, but it will not be as huge as you going into big projects kind of business with no exposure at all, no technical understanding, no business understanding, no emotional stability. That is dangerous, because the only thing that was pushing you was just the money, and that does not work that much. So don't worry about people talking about the issues. People have the right to talk about you, talk about your struggles, write about them. If they know you, that's why most popular businesses, when they are struggling, then the so-called media, they have to make money. So if they don't know you, at least the friends that know you, the families that know you, whoever you owe, they also have the liberty to say the story and at least to pacify their emotion. Never worry about those, because when you get to the next stage of success, nobody remembers the struggling moment. So if the business brought the debt, this is my conviction, if the business brought the debt, the same business or the business that you engineered brought the debt that screwed you, the same business or the other one that you start could also bring profit and bring growth. So nobody could have given you that kind of money if you didn't have business. So somebody else could also give you another money if your idea for the next stage is well tuned, and they see that you have. And most top investors or people who give money for people to start businesses, most often they hardly give money to somebody in your first business, unless they see a lot of numbers that are adding up. But if you tell them that you started this one, it didn't work, and now you have started this, sometimes if they see the prospects of the new one that you have, they believe that you may have learned a lot of lessons from the first one, which is true. You may have learned how to know people and how they think, the promises that they will give you, because the old business or the one that is struggling, a lot of them, the struggles are coming from the promises that people gave you that they did not live up to. People gave you a promise. Your engineer gave you the promise that he would deliver with 1,000 bags of cement. It ended up going to 1,005. The employer told you that maybe they will pay you every other week. Now they are paying you 3 months, interval. That is a major problem. They told you a lot of things, you believe them, and then when you hit the road, it turned out to be different. The same way. Now the second business, because now you understand how people talk and how they can over pump you and they will exaggerate and all those. Now you go with a lot of you are a bit more conserved. You become a conservative, so to say, because now you have some level of knowledge, some level of exposure. You understand things better than before. So if it is the business that brought it, it is not personal debt. Don't forget that. You registered the business, they gave you this money, it was on a project. You may have guaranteed it personally, but it's still not personal debt. It's a business debt. Because personally, nobody will give you 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, 5 million, or even 20,000. Most people don't qualify for that. If you ask the people who are taking mortgage and they are asking them, what is your, they put a lot of people around 100,000 Ghana cedis, 150,000 Ghana cedis. So if your business was able to secure 1 million kind of debt, it's because it was a business. Maybe yes, it is a business, you led it, but really it's a business debt. So you treat it as such, and you continue to don't back off. Stay with the process. Never turn back from doing business, because how are you going to pay the debt? You can never work for salary and pay that kind of debt you have created. So it has got to be a business. If the business created that debt, it's got to be this business to correct that debt. So every one of these great business people that you see, go and talk to them. Some of them handled billions when they lost focus, even though they were astute. When they lost focus of the business, then they started incurring a lot of bad debt. So this is what I'm talking of. My name is Kwabena. I'm talking of mistakes that entrepreneurs go through, and I'm talking about what they call bad debt. There's one thing when you are very good in business, you have done it for a while, 5 years, 10 years, and you took a project, you did some kind of all kind of the things that they call syndication, and you put it into a hotel, you put it into apartments, and they go bad. You are coming with a lot of experience, a lot of debt. You know what to do, and even at that levels, a lot of people are not even able to put up with the pain. And so what happens to a young man who started a business and the next minute is in trouble, debt? Everybody is calling him. Everybody is calling the parents. Everybody is calling the friends that your friend owes me, he's not paying. They're calling your wife. They're calling these people. How do you handle that? Because even they are astute ones, sometimes they give up. So you are not that much exposed, not much equipped, and you are in this. I remember there was a time that somebody else told me that, I took money to do this project, and then it didn't add up. Now I owe about 3,000, 4,000. What do I do? What do you do? Go fight back. Find a way of paying them. But you're lucky, that is small money. How about if it's 300,000? Then how do you handle that? You cannot back off. You have to stay and fight and get over that and pay everybody what they do, because they gave you their money. You cannot give explanation. If you have to sell whatever you have, you may have to sell them. And never be afraid to start over again. Never be afraid to start over again. Never. So they would not, the institutions will not give you that kind of money at the personal level. They give it to you because it's a business. And maybe they felt that you had a good project. And we have had a lot of stories of that, where we're just told and pushed into projects that didn't turn out to be the way we saw them to be, and we were the ones left with the debt, and we just had to keep solving them and see where they will go. So these are the things. And the thing is that the next time you see that the same company is signing another contract which is 10 million, but who will give the other guy who is working somewhere 10 million contract unless he has done a project? So the business is an entity that is able to create that kind of debt for you, and the same business is an entity that can get that kind of project, which has the possibility of making a lot of profit that you can use to create the debt, wipe up the debt, and create growth for yourself. So if you meet any of these problems, if you meet any of these challenges, don't cry, don't weep. Don't blame yourself. Take responsibility, but not blame. Don't live in regret. Don't live in complaint. And there is nothing wrong with you. It's not demonic. It's not anything of that sort. It's just that you need to better your game. So it is one thing when you have done business for a while and you get into trouble. It's another thing when you just at the point of view starting, you get into trouble. So don't run away from your debt, your creditors. Don't run away from them. They call you pig. Call them sometimes, tell them where the situation is. You are going to pay their money based on projections. Sometimes some of those projections will not work. Tell them the projections did not work. And if you're at the point where they want to take you to court and everything, let them take you to court. It's people who are there. Fight. And never be bitter against somebody who gave you money. They can be bitter, but you never be. Because they trusted you. But they did not know that you were going to go through some of these processes yourself. So some of them who have ever done it, they are a bit more careful and relaxed, and they know that you're going to learn. Majority of people don't know that you will make mistakes. A lot of people don't know that. So when even the banks, they don't know that. They think that everything is perfect. So when they are hit with bad debt, they don't take it easily at all. So you should not run away from them. Get back to them. Call you, pick, talk to them. They can kill you. They can only talk to you and maybe insult you and talk to you like you're nothing. It is a phase. So put up with that. Your employee that you put on the project that you have not paid after the end of the month can talk to you like you're nothing. The same person who was very nice to you and calling you boss, MD, whatever they call you, manager, when you don't pay him for a month, the same employee will turn around. Why? Because it's their money. They use their life. Should you be bitter against them? Not at all. You should never be bitter, because that is their life. You think somebody wants to stand in the sun and work for you, and when it comes to paying them, you say that I don't want to pay you. No. They want their money, and you should understand that it is their right to, and they deserve their money. If you don't have it, you just have to negotiate and talk and see what you can do. Your supplier, same. They may have also even taken loan to give you the products, to give you the materials. Now you don't have payment, you are collapsing their business. You cannot just talk to them anyhow. You just have to put up with it, and always be hopeful and separate yourself from the problems. Don't weep, don't cry. These are all realities of doing business here. Never think that somebody else is so much endowed and blessed, and they never endure this. A lot of them, all of them, I should say, endured some of these things. So when you meet them, they're just a training ground, and sometimes the training can be that tough and difficult and painful. But what else can you say? You created the problem yourself. You have to solve them yourself, and businesses collapse because of debt, mismanagement, bad decisions, which result into debt, into loans not being paid, into suppliers not being paid, into employees not being paid, into taxes not being paid. The business can easily collapse. So the ones who you bargain, go to them and bargain. You created the mess because of your lack of exposure and scale. So go back and bargain if you have to. Open up the interest again. Talk to them about the collaterals. Talk to them. And some of them should know that doing business in our country is almost like madness. It's madness, actually. You've got to be almost like a psychopath, so to say. You always have to be crazy to do business here. Why am I saying that? Because look at our interest rate. It's very high. Look at our taxes and how they are run. Look at Senate, the threats that they will give to business owners. Look at how our employees behave. Look at how the rate at which people will just steal from the business without even knowing. Your accountant can easily steal. Your project manager can easily steal. Look at how people can easily cause a mess for the business. Easily. And you yourself, you're not mature, so your immaturity can also create a lot of problem. And the environment is that hostile for businesses to flourish. So if problems come, it's not that much unique. If you look at how the structure is, the business structure, the business environment is, a lot of this are just happening to people. They may not be talking about them. They are just secretive about them, but these are the facts. So you are not the only person who may be going through that. But if you're honest and you study the problems, where you see that you would become a better person. You become a better person. So the debt can come from the problems, or the debt can come from the loans that you picked, the suppliers that you took their product on credit that you didn't pay, the labor that you told them you pay at the end of the month that has gone to the next 3 months, the tax people. Those are the areas that you may, and even your machines are still on insurance, your rent, the office rent, all those. Even if your business is not making any revenue at all, the business is still incurring a lot of expenses, which can translate into debt, and we can easily stagnate or stop the business. And this is my best part. Things are not going to change because you wish they will change. Things are going to change because you put up with it and you resolve to stay and solve them. That's how things are going to change. You resolve to get better in understanding how business is done. You resolve to get better in understanding how your business is done. You resolve to understand how finances are managed and created well. You resolve to understand how to manage people, how to connect with people. You resolve to understand a lot of these things, because you created that problem at a point where you did not know what you were doing. You are not going to solve that problem if you stay with the same kind of understanding and knowledge and exposure. No, we are going to solve them when we start to get ourselves better and improve ourselves, and never forget your debt. Never forget your debt. If you forget your debt, you are dishonest. And don't forget that people will also never forget their debt. If their money is with you, they will always remember. So you have to draw a closure to it and see what you can do for the next stage, and never regret, so to say, that why did I do this business in the first place. You could have gone to manufacturing and electricity would have also sunk you anyway. You could have gone into microfinance, and a lot of them are closing down. You could have gone into mining, and now the government is saying, everybody stop the galamsey. So you could have bought a lot of machines, put them to the side, and the next minute one policy comes up, and if you credited those things, now you have a situation at hand. So business is like that. A lot of businesses go through this. What is important is that you stay put. So that's why I recommend that some of these businesses that extract a lot of big cash to start and to stay in from the beginning, you should not go in until you have the strength, the exposure, the technical understanding, the know-how to stay in this. Because construction, for instance, before you get the project, you have got to go and buy a tender document. Even though they know they will not give you, they will still sell them to you. That's money. If you didn't have that, you had to borrow. You go and do bid security, which is useless actually, but they will require, and you spend money on that. You go to the labor office, you go to all these institutions, and even if they give you the project, they require of you to produce performance bond guarantee. Even if they want to give you mobilization, they take guarantee, and most of these guarantees you need collaterals to support them. And if you don't have them, then some people even go to the extent of taking some people's collateral and giving them money. These are all expenditure. How much is the business? So you can easily put ourselves into some of these trouble unknowingly because you are not equipped. That is not the place to learn. You don't go and learn with this kind of bullets coming at you. It's tough to go there and learn. So even when you have the project, some of them will require that you put insurance on it, and that's another money. So how much is construction margin? 15-20%. And if the cash flow, if the payment structure doesn't work out as you plan, if they are not paying every month, trouble. If they do not take care of the variations, trouble for you. And if your people start to steal from their sites, that's another trouble for you. If you needed 10 workers and engineers, taking 15 and tell you that he took instead of 10, it's trouble for you. So the areas that you can lose money are so many. So it calls for people with some bit of understanding to start business in these areas, and start it well. That's why most of the people who start in these areas, they just connive with people and loop the figures. Why? Because if you are dealing with the real figures, you see that you don't have anything. It will rather put you into trouble, And so this is how businesses are run. This is how businesses are done. And if you have trouble, you deal with it. You are the one who created them, so you deal with it yourself. and don't run away. If everybody runs away, stay and solve them. That's why you develop strength. That's why you become better. If you didn't have the wisdom not to start that business from that kind of level, and you did go ahead to start, now you have created a problem. Stay there and stop and solve them. And solve them yourself, and once you have registered the business, you have put the business in all these state institutions, whether you have revenue or not, they are charging you. You should let them know that you are not working and your business has trouble, or they will still be slapping all their charges that they have on you. So these are some of the things that you have to know, and perchance if you are out of this situation, you would become a strong person. You become a bro boss. You become somebody who is tough. Now you can deal with big figures. That's one advantage of this kind of businesses too, because you see big figures. For you to create big figure business is also not difficult, especially if you learn your lessons well, But the problem is, how do you cross from this nasty situation to the place where you can now have a better business with better structure, better team, better perspective, better clarity as to how things are done well. So it's going to take a lot of strength to put up with all the pain, to put up with all the mess, to put up with all the mistakes that you may have done, and take responsibility for the mess. You created them, and meet the people that you owe, and never get angry. Never put up the situation. Don't feel bitter. Don't live in regret. They will just kill your spirit, and they will kill your ability to dream again. Your regret will kill that ability to dream again. So it is tough because the situation is tough, but you have to get tougher, and to keep your head up, and let people know that you are honest, even if they don't believe it. And have your own philosophy to just be kind and respectful and modest when things start to get better, because nobody should tell you that stage that didn't work was not good. You would know that I was not good, and it's not a stage that you would want to go again. But who knows, you may go there again. And if it happens that you don't go there again, then you are lucky. But you keep that long-term perspective, knowing that the terrain can be that rough, And so when there are problems, let people know that you're there to solve the problems. You're not there to run away. Sometimes it may be overdue, it may delay, but you are there, and commit to making some kind of progress with all these obligations that you have, and give your word, and don't create stress by giving a lot of promises just because they are demanding, because then you ruin the credibility, and you are different from the problems. That's one of the things that you have to convince yourself with. It's a business debt, it's not a personal debt. If it were a personal debt, no bank will give you that kind of money anyway, based on your exposure and when you started. So it's a business debt, and treat it as a business debt. Yes, you may have given personal guarantee, but it's still a business debt. It's obligation. You are the one responsible. But and that's why your maturity is built, when you accept the responsibility to say that I created this mess and I am the one to solve it. And keep your emotions in check. Keep your emotions in check, and encourage yourself all the time. Stay with the process, and one of the best things is that, having gone through all these things, if you start another business, you know that you are starting with that's why you use that expertise. Don't waste it, and never say that you will never try again. No. Especially if you committed 2, 3, 4, 5 years in trying to do something and it went bad. What do you want to lose that? It may not be that business, but why would you want to use that? What do you want to lose that? No. Use it in another area. And if you talk to all these great businessmen and women, a lot of them is not even their first business that ushered them into this greatness, into this empire that they have created. Sometimes it's their third, the fifth. Some of them have crashed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but they didn't give up. They kept on going. They kept on going, and then somewhere, because it's like you hitting the, the blacksmith when they put something in fire and they want it to break. They are hitting, and every hit is causing to the breaking. And so if this one did not work and the next one is not, you are getting closer to where it will explode, where it will break. So this is the kind of thinking that you have to have. You cannot have a victim's mind, where you are regretting and crying. No, solve the problems. Yes, you have caused people pain and shame, but solve the problems yourself, and deal with it. And that's how it is. And that's why people who put, some people never start any business at all, and then when they go into retirement, they are thinking of starting a business. And the thing is that they may come with some kind of exposure, but in terms of toughness, when things go wrong, they may not have it to stay, because they have never experienced this kind of inconvenience before. They have never experienced this kind of situation before, And so when they start something, they may even come with money, and then when they start and the whole thing starts to go bad, they cannot handle the situation. Why? Even though they are 60, they are 70, they have never been talked to by people like that. They have never lost this kind of money like that. They have never handled this kind of stress and inconvenience and pain and struggle. No, you are at an advantage, even though it seems like it's a bad situation. But you are at advantage of having started something and having gone through this kind of furnace and fire. And so now you are refined. Now you are refined. You talk with some level of clarity. You see the world from a different... I can tell you that very few people see the world like the way you are seeing it. Why? Because you have gone through some kind of fire. You understand things better now. And that's why when you start the next one, you start another one, you are better now. You know what to do, where to step, because you have gone through some kind of mess. And so it's not a mess that any of us welcomes, but when they come, you just have to put up with them. You just have to put up with them and have a strategy to start to look at the people and handle the ones that are few. If you have multiple of them, handle the ones that are few. If the tax office is calling you, go and negotiate and tell them, I can give you 100 Ghana. They may not even know that you owe other people, and they will not even believe it, because they all believe that once you start business, you have money, and yet this business you started may have caused you a lot of bad situation. But never lose your confidence. That's it. And forget the regrets. Don't lose yourself in regrets. You took risk, and risk comes with losses. That's the fact of life. If you were not in that plane and it dropped, you will not be dead. You took the risk. You took the plane. If the car that got the accident and people got hurt, if you're not in that car, you'll never be part of those who had the accident. Those are the realities of life, So once you took the risk to be in that car, then when it hits, you're part of the people who will get hit as well. So any situation that you have, any situation that you take risk, understand that the risk, because you want the profit, you want the benefit, when the risk comes, you stay with it and deal with it, and you're better equipped for the next stage when you start another one, and never lose the first experience. And sometimes even fight back to put the same business on a good track. Fight back, no matter what it takes. Fight back and continue to correct the errors, and stretch to do some other things, expand, stretch to do some other things, and start to correct the errors, and understand that people's money is very important to them. They're emotional about them. They can tell you anything that they want to tell you because they gave you their money, and you just have to put up with it, and don't be sad the way they talk to you. It can be painful, it can be unbearable, but it's unbearable when you hear them the first time. The second one, you'll be able to put up with them, and your worker is telling you things that you would least expected that man could tell you, all because you owe them their salary. And so these are realities that you have to deal with, but those who gave you their money deserve some kind of respect. And so even if they insult you, what else can you do than to fight and give them the money? And the other thing is that the business will continue to incur debt. So in you not having a lot, you start to look at what you can cut, what you can stop, so that you stop the business from bleeding. If you have to cease operations, do them whilst you're correcting, and if you can start another business alongside, if you can do another thing alongside, do them. But if it's a big issue, it's the business that we can correct those errors. You are not going to take another job to pay the debt that the business created. That will take you years. So you might as well looking at starting other businesses in addition, and see what comes up with what you are doing. So my name is Obindako. I'm talking about some of the mistakes that we make, and this time I'm talking about debt, which most Ghanaians just don't talk about them. They hide, even though a lot of them have created this kind of mess. And I know that it's business, and once anybody in business can get into debt, anybody at all, especially when you started with very few, with very little understanding. And a lot of people have that. And so develop the attitude to handle the situation, and don't be ashamed about it. Don't be ashamed about it. Just be honest, and don't think that is another person who was trying to cut some spare around you. No, it's just that your knowledge was weak, your financial knowledge was weak, your negotiation skill was weak, my understanding of business was weak, my understanding of the entrepreneurship journey was weak. A lot of things were weak. That's why I entered into those kind of businesses, or I entered into those kind of negotiations in the first place. Even if I was not weak, whatever the situation is, some things can come that you least expected, and they can just get you off the ground. They can just, the next time you are you are crying, bleeding, what do? Don't regret. Stay with the process, because the same thing will bring the victory if you stay. When you fall, it's likely that you get up from the same place that you fall. Nobody falls and try to run. You can't run until you get up. So where you fall is where you will lift yourself again. So if the business sinks you, or if the business is the one that sank you, it's so likely that it's the same business that will lift you up. Okay, so you don't just fall and just stay there. You fall to get back up, and that is the reality. That is the fact of life. That is the fact of life. So develop the attitude of not running away from the debt. Don't forget the debt, because people will never forget the money they gave you. Bad debt will kill the business quick. Yet every one of us will go through this kind of phase. How do you handle that? Is up to your commitment to handling this situation. And handle your emotions, handle your relationships well. If your friends gave you money, if your family people gave you money, and you have lost it, give them the assurance that you will get the money back to them. And do what you have to do. Sometimes it's that painful. Sometimes it can be detours. Sometimes it can be years. I'm not even talking about personal debt. What the debt that most people know is personal. And personal debt is not much. Personal debt is maybe 100,000, 20,000 kind of debt. But you can get a project which is 10 million, and if that project sinks you, you're talking of 2, 4, 5 million. That's not the kind of money that you are going to work to pay. That's the kind of money that you have got to fight to become a better businessman to pay. And in your bid to fight back, you see that you become better person. And that's where you get things exploding. And forget about the words that people will say to you. The same people will say another thing when you're successful. The same people who are saying that this guy is an idiot, this guy is this guy, you succeed. The same people will say, we knew you will succeed. So don't worry about what people say. Don't even worry about the close ones or the far ones. Don't tell yourself weak things. Tell yourself things that are going to build you up. And I know that you took risk to do something that very few people will do. Very few people will do. So if you went to the war and you got shot, it's because you went to the war. That's why you got shot. If you were in the house, maybe they would not have killed you, or they would not have shot you on the war front. So it's part of the game. Understand that it's part of the game, and that's why I think that if you start in a big project kind of business, construction, engineering, you should have had some level of business understanding to start there. You should have understanding, and never belittle yourself. Never belittle yourself. What I mean is that never think that because you have this situation here, because there are other areas in your life that you're succeeding. There are other areas in your life that you're succeeding. There are other areas in your life that people look up to you. So why would you just strip all your life to this one area that you're having tough time? No. There are other areas of life that people look up to you. There are other areas of your life that you can be a blessing to people. Don't just be the victim just because you have this problem. So even if it's a personal debt, you fight back. Fight back, because if you cannot control the personal debt, forget about business debt. You can't, because it's the same knowledge that you are going to use to fight back. Personal debt. I've never had personal debt per se because I never worked anywhere anyway. But business debt, I have had them. Some of them screwed me big time. So painful and bitter. But I was naive. I didn't know. So now I know. What do? I start to correct them. I said not to stop you from pursuing your dream, not to stop you from building your business. No. Just to let you know that these things are there, so get equipped so that you may not take the route that some of us took, so that you can build a business which is of a better structure. But whatever be the case, you also would have your own way of picking your own lessons. So your lessons may come from some other way than the path that I took. And so the debt will come from the loans, if you needed loan at all. And they will come from your suppliers, materials, labor. They will come from some of the obligations that your business has to do for the state. If your business is not making any revenue, it's still incurring losses in terms of expenditure. So if you have trouble, then start to handle them bit by bit. If you owe multiple companies, multiple people, start to look at the ones that you can handle bit by bit. And people are very emotional, especially Ghanaians, with your money. Don't curse yourself. Put your head up and handle the situation. Sometimes it may not be you. Sometimes it could be a family member, a husband who did business, who didn't work, and yet the stress is coming to the family. That's not the time to beat the man. That's not the time to curse the man. That is the time to open up and see what you can do to help him to get back. If it's your wife who started something and it didn't work, that's not the time to curse him and let him know, because they exhibited some strength in starting something. That is the time to talk strength to them and tell them that they have your full support, and that you're ready to fight this back. Because if you had succeeded, you all will benefit anyway. So if he has trouble, you may not share the trouble, but at least be there to give them support and see how you can offer solutions to get the family. I believe that you cannot start business and take your family out. Whatever it is, they are involved. If it is glorious, they are involved. It is not. If it's a bad situation, they are involved. So if you have trouble, don't hide it from them. Open up to them. Let them know what you are going through, and let them, sometimes some people can just say something that will just be the solution that you've been waiting for all this while. So don't, especially the men, don't keep it all to yourself. And if anything at all, try to get the other one, your partner, your wife, to understand that you took risk and it didn't work. And so you have some bit of understanding now, and you're not going to give up. Don't let them say, stop, don't do it again. Do it again, because you are not going to handle the debt with salary. Business debt is huge, so you may have to fight back, and leverage the experience, leverage the things that created the mess, leverage on them. That is how. So talk good things to the one who has created the mess. If it's your friend, if it's your father, if it's your mother, they tried something, it didn't work. Don't kill them. Don't kill them. Talk strength to them. Talk strength to them. That is how you get to go forward. Because a lot of people are going to start businesses, and these things are things that will come up. And so when they start and it's good, you praise them. But when the bad things come, now you are the wiser one. That is a bad thing. That's a bad thing. That person may never recover from the bad words that you say to them. So say good things to them. Good things to them. Should that mean you lie to them? No. Just scrutinize the situation and tell them what you think could be done to better the situation. And make sure that they don't treat their creditors badly. Because they also deserve respect from you. And never ever forget the people you owe. Call them. Tell them what you are thinking. Sometimes you may have handled a lot of them and it's left with something. They will still be looking up to it. And sometimes even the strength to pick the phone and call them is so tough. But nobody put you there. You put yourself in that situation. So and your business will flourish anyway. That is the reality. Your business will flourish. It's a cycle that the entrepreneur, you are going through, and there's a cycle that the business goes through. And whatever business that you start, you're going to grow it better because now you're wiser. Anything that you start again, and improve your financial knowledge, improve your negotiation skills, improve your business understanding, learn them well, read them. Because when you are in that heat, that's not the time to enjoy comedy. No. That's the time to build yourself. That's the time to become better. That's the time to negotiate. That's the time to think. That's the time to plan. That's the time to have a strategy to fight back. That's not the time for weeping. No. It's time to fight back and fight till you can see clearly again. So that's how it is. And so my name is Kwabena. I'm talking about entrepreneurship, and with this respect, I'm talking about the mistakes which sometimes can come in a form of debt. And so when they come in that form of debt, it's the mistakes. Some of them can come because some of the mistakes that I have noticed can be bad business idea, bad partnership, bad employees that you picked on board, bad situation of the business, bad financing, and bad debt. Some of the things, some of them could be wrong technology that you're using. All kind of things can come to the business. But the most dangerous one for me is when you owe people, because then it puts a lot of stress. If you have money and the partnership is not working, you can separate and go with money and start another one. But if there's no money, it affects all the other one. And it's the test of even the whole concept, the whole idea. When things are very horrible, when the finances are in bad shape, that's why you know the kind of person you are, the kind of person your team is, the kind of business mess that you have created. You test. It's a thermometer actually when the situation is bad. That's why you test the strength of the relationship that you have built in the business. And some people are that good that at that point, that's where they bond more to fight the situation. That is not the time to be mischievous and mistrustful and blame. No. That's not the time. The time when things are difficult is the time that you come together. You bond together more so that you can solve it quickly. That's not the time to fight. And yet, that's the time that a lot of people regret ever coming in contact with you. They don't want to deal with you anymore. They want to walk off on you, And that's the time that most people's marriages even break. No, that's not the time. The man's business is going down, and that's not the time for you to pack up, even if they didn't listen to you. Maybe you are right. I don't know. Do I know what is going on? But I think at least if I'm going through a lot of difficult moments, I would want my relationships to at least even if they want to solve it, they don't want to solve it with me, they should at least understand that I'm doing my best with the little that I know, and I took a risk. It may not have worked, but I'm not running away. I want to solve it and solve them well. It's also take responsibility, just as I said. Meet the creditors that you can meet. Don't let them call you. They be calling you and you don't pick the call. No, you have to pick the call and tell them what you have to tell them, so that they can also plan what they have to plan. And be prompt and deal with the situation. It's a difficult situation, but that's how it is. And let them know that you have the resolve to solve it. You are resolving. Your strength is in you solving them and overcoming them. And be truthful at every stage. They don't have to believe that what you're saying is true, but you should have a value system to say that what you're saying is true, and commit to making some bit of payment. If when you start to see money, start to make payment. They may not. Some of them may even take maybe you owe somebody 100,000, you send them 2,000, and they insult you. Don't worry about it. Just still send it. Because sometimes that 2,000 would have gone to another place to solve a lot of problems. But because you have conscience, you are trying to build that mess. You are trying to correct that mess. And so even if they insult you, it doesn't matter. Send it. And with time you see that you would have solved, you would have reduced the burden. That 100,000 becomes 50, becomes 20. And then you see that you're getting over. And then you cross it. In Ghana, when you owe people and you are paying them, they say you are destroying my money. I bet you, if you had that money, I would not let you call me. I tell you, I'll pay you one off, but I don't have it. That's why I'm paying it bit by bit. So I'm not destroying it. You can keep it in your account. When it's bulk enough, you can use it. Because if I had the bulk, then why would I want to destroy the money? I would have paid you right away. And most people cannot take pressure. You see them strong and moving when there's money. That's the nature of a lot of people. You see them moving and confident when there is money. When there is money, they can solve problems with money. But they are sad and stressed when there's no money. I don't think so. I think that you should be as exuberant when there's no money as when there's money. You should. That's why you have to even negotiate and tell your workers that, please, there's no money. So that's not the time that they are calling you and you're not picking. No, that's the time to pick. If you don't want to pick any call, don't pick it when there's money. But when there's no money, that's the time to call them and pick and negotiate and tell them what you think. That's how it is. You that's why you provide leadership. When difficult moments, that's why you provide the leadership needed. In difficult moments, that's not where you crash and crumble. No. You stay. You show up when there's trouble. When they call you, go. It's tough. It's difficult. You may not be 100%. You not be able to do this 100%, but that's how it is. So that is life. So don't overpromise them. Do your bit under the pressure, because your health is also important. If you start to get sicknesses, then how are you going to pay? So you are different from the problem. So separate yourself from the problem. It's a business debt you have created. If it's a personal debt, you still have to separate yourself from the problem. And your maturity is seen in how you handle this situation. And keep your emotions intact. Keep your mind intact. There's more to your life than just this business or this debt. You are more gifted and more composed and complete than just this mess that you have created for yourself. There's other areas of your life that are in good shape. Don't lose focus of that, and leverage the experiences. Start more businesses out of that, and you see that you'll be able to stage a better business the next time around, and you become a better person. So these are realities of the situation. Some few people may not go through this, but a lot of us who are very ignorant and foolish had to go through that. And so don't regret the risk that you took that got into this trouble, because that risk was needed anyway, and you're better equipped next time to handle the situation. And let the people also know that they also took risk. You may not be able to tell them that, but That in a way reduces your pressure. And so make sure you give people back their money, and don't lie, and don't go and do all kind of dubious means because you owe to pay people. Keep your values, because brighter days are ahead. So so those are the things that I think you can do to keep yourself up and solve some of these problems that will come up when you're doing business. And it goes around every other vision that you set for yourself. When you meet challenges, stay up to expectation. Stay up to expectation and solve them. And debt management is a skill. Your ability to handle this stage will show whether you go to the next stage or not. Don't run away to them. Let them come. No matter who they come with, face them. They can kill you. They can do anything. They can threaten you, but that's all there is that they can do. But be as honest as you are. Have your values intact. And next time you are starting business, sit down well and know the cost of what business you are going to do, what it will take. People always underestimate what the cost, the initial cost of the business. They always underestimate it. It's about 3 times. That's why you didn't even see the figures when they were going. When you were spending, you didn't see it because you underestimated that maybe I would just only need 10,000 to start this business. People always underestimate what is needed to start a business, and they always are over ambitious. We are always over ambitious as to the time that the money is going to come in. If it will take 3 weeks, we say that it's going to take 2 days. Because we want the money to come in quickly and we want it to go out slowly. It's the other way around, actually. If you have done business for a while, you know that when they say that they will pay you, that's not the time that they always pay. Yet people are double fast or double faster to come for their money with you. So those are the things that and people will screw you. Those will also come in the form of debt. And so be open up yourself and learn the trade. And so don't go into big projects if you're not skilled. Start small, learn the trade, then you can stay out of this a lot of this mess that you so don't need. But even if you are in the middle of those mess, understand that everybody has a mess that they're handling anyway. Whether it's about the team, the vision, the business is collapsing, or they don't have revenue. Every one of these great businesses has issues because it's a human institution, and so it's the same ability. If you're able to cover this situation, you can use the same skills to solve any other situation that you're going through. And be modest and treat people with respect, and don't become bitter with people who disagree with you, who insulted you, who fought you. They're just fighting for their own, and that is life. People will have to fight to stay and fight for their own, so if they disagreed and walk off on you because you owe them, that's fine. Never be bitter, never be offended. There's no need, and always have a large heart, an open mind, because there's more that you can do if you have such disposition. If you have an enlightened mind, you can do a lot. If you have an enlightened mind, exposed mind, always. If you do that, you will see that you get to the next stage. And there are good people out there. In spite of all this, there are people that will come into your life that will walk through this with you. They can be 1 or 2, but they are always there. Where sometimes you may even owe them, but they are there for you. Why? Because they understand the situation and they want to walk with you to the next stage. And you also can be that person for the other person who is also going through a similar situation. Like that. So you once you're providing that, somebody else will provide that for you. That's not the point to kill people and break relationship and never talk to them again. I don't believe in that. Don't, especially if the people are not wicked and dishonest. And I've had people like that I still stroll, I still work with, even though we have made some mistakes together. So that is it. So it's more than just the money. It's more than just People are also important, and you want to be respected, even though you have erred, even though you have made mistakes. So if somebody also owes you, show them the same kind of respect. Be good-hearted, and wish them the ones that, even if you don't want to give them money again, no problem. But at least wish that they will also get better and be as responsible as you would want them to be. Understand that doing business in this country is not child's play, because people give words that they don't support with their actions, and that's why gets business people, especially the naive ones, always in trouble, because they so believe the director. Oh, the director said the money will come the next week. It's not the one paying you, man. So always because they're with their promises, and they said, oh, they will give me big project. The project came and they gave it to the other person. Don't be disappointed. Fight for the next stage. And so sometimes you are so much waiting for this payment, this project, to solve the problem, and then they fail you. Open up multiple streams, open up multiple, go out more and see what you can do. And so my name is Opendako. I've tried to talk to you about mistakes that we make and how to handle the bad debt. And so when you have bad situation, when you owe people at the personal or at the business level, don't run away. If the people were so kind and nice, if the bank was so kind and nice to give you money, and there's trouble, don't run away from them. Even if they want to sell your things, let them sell. What else can you do? And it does not mean that you as a person, you are a failure. No, it's the business that struggled. So you separate yourself from that. But no, don't run away. Don't change your address. Don't put off your phone. Don't change your chip just because you owe somebody. No, go there. Show up. That's what great people do. They show up. They fight back. They tell them that, unless I had a bad situation, I'm working it out. If you want to do what you want to do, you can do it. Never run away. If they want to come to your house, let them come. Whatever they want to do, let them do, so far as they don't harm your life. So negotiate, fight back. Doesn't mean anything, and you will overcome if you don't quit. So don't run away from them. Understand that debt can get you into big trouble. So whenever you're taking another debt, be conserved. Be conscious, because it can easily destroy every other thing that you have built. But always encourage yourself that if the business created that mess, the business can create another good thing. And sharpen your bargaining tools. And start the business that you understand, at least, and succeed in that before you go into any other thing. And don't take any promise from any political person that I'll give you project, go and register a business, those kind of things, and they want to use it as a conduit. You are better off starting a water selling business, or starting a business that you can control. Don't let them put you in trouble, because most politicians have never done business. The only way they are welcoming you is because they want to use you for their gain, and they will put you in trouble. Most civil servants have never done any business. Okay, at least not the one that you want to build to employ 100 people, 200 people, 300 people. No, they don't believe in that. They only want to use you as a conduit for their own gain. And you may have the opinion or the mind or the intention to build proper business. And so those are not the people that you gang up with. You gang up with somebody who also shares the same kind of vision. So when there's trouble, you see that this person is in it with you to solve them. Not those who are always giving you promises, and even if they gave you the project, they have not helped you. They have put you in trouble. And sometimes it will take you years for you to get yourself out. Sorry, the network was bad. So thank you very much for being with me. Hey, Mike Esiadi, thank you. Abed, thank you. Mr. Ofosu, thank you. Vicky, thank you very much. I hope I was able to share something with you. It's an honor to share from the mistakes that we have made, and from the things that we think we made right decisions. So thank you very much, and good night. Thank you. You may share the page with your friends and help people to hear some of these things. This is not motivational speech. This is something that we have gone through, and therefore we share it with you, so they may guide you, and as we are also continue to learn and continue to learn. So thank you very much. Continue to learn, and you may help me share the videos. Thank you. Good night.